Welcome to Game Changer Weekly. John, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing really good, Brant. How you doing, brother?
I am doing good. Just a quick heads up to anyone watching. We might run into some technical issues here. Had some issues right before the show. If we do have anything, John will continue on the show and I will hop in if I need be. But so far, it's so good and we are looking good. And we have a lot to cover from this weekend in AC.
Oh, man. You want me to go over some news?
Yes, let's give them some news to start off the show.
Okay, first piece of news. We want to thank all the fans out there for their support. We had record-breaking numbers on our first episode on a Tuesday night in a midnight time slot. And, that's a work night for most people. So on the East Coast last week, we ended at 1:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So thank you. I can't say it any better. What do you think, Brent? Pretty good stuff, huh?
Yeah, very fun first night. Turnout was incredible. We had lots of good, interesting discussions too in the chat. And yeah, definitely, I think a great debut for us. And a big shout out again. Thank you for Body Slam and Cassidy for giving us the opportunity. And hopefully tonight will be another fun one. And we have a lot to cover tonight. So I think we'll be in for another long podcast, another long night as well.
So another thing that's kind of interesting, Brent, our 200th hour of podcasting together was recorded on this show last episode. We were at 199 and a half hours recorded together on the Plant podcast. Then when we hosted our first show last week, we hit that 200 mark. So I thought that was really amazing. Congratulations. Not bad for two amateur fans, right?
Right. So, I remember the first couple episodes were like hour and a half, and we're like, oh, we babbled on. Did we cover enough? And now we're 200 hours in and covering GCW. And yeah, it's a lot of content we've definitely done and watched and put out. And it's all been fun, though. Definitely worth the ride.
Yeah, we averaged 2 hours and 35 minutes per episode. That's pretty rocking out there. All right, so on to our next little piece of news there. It was announced last weekend that Tournament of Survival 9 will be going down at the Showboat in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This will be June 1st and 2nd. As far as I know, no matches have been announced yet. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going on there. TOS chants were going on, all during last weekend's shows. So it was kind of expected that announcement had to come out soon.
Yeah, TOS is going to be fun. I wonder what kind of talent they're going to bring in this year, because the talent pool just gets like bigger and bigger, I think, name wise for the TOSs. And we always disappointed that even some of the names that we love are left out. But yeah, definitely excited for TOS coming back to the terminal in AC.
Yeah, we're really fortunate to have an independent pick of the litter. So our next little announcement here, we had Joey Janela versus Blake Christian for the GCW World title. This was announced for Joey Janela's spring break. So I'm thinking, is this it for Blake?
I have that written down later. Later on, I have it kind of written down, that talking point. I don't know if I feel Joey should be the one that takes the belt off of Blake. I think it should be someone else. But if it is Joey, I could kind of see a little pattern and how it kind of gets turned into, which I think would be a pretty cool scenario for future booking.
I'm really looking forward to the Joey thing. So I'm going to really be looking forward to who you're going to pick here as your all right. So I have a PWI subscription. If anything GCW related shows up in there, I try to report it. So the first thing I want to report, congratulations to Teriyaki on being the one to watch in May's issue of PWI. He has a full page feature with a promo shot. It's a great read. He said that one time he turned a corner in his hallway and he got bloodied, like running into his sister. He looked in the mirror and that's when he knew he wanted to be a pro wrestler. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is cool. It's nice to see him get recognition, because I know we first saw him and I was like, he's still young and like kind of green, but I think he's going to turn into something in the short amount of time. We see him ever improving everywhere he shows up and pops up, not just in GCW. And glad to see him get the recognition in PWI. That's an awesome start to his career, and can't wait to cover just this weekend what he did as well.
So the last bit of news I have here, It's PWI's top 5 of GCW. So do you want me to start with number 1, go down to 5, or do you want 5 go up to 1?
I like 5 counting up to 1 normally on my top 5s.
All righty here. So here we go. Number 5 on the top 5 of GCW is John Wayne Murdoch. Thought that was a good choice. On to number 4, your guy, Jordan Oliver. He's all over the country too, or all over the world right now too. So that's kind of an interesting pick. Number 3, Miedo Extremo. Also an interesting pick there. Number 2, we kind of know one of these ones, Joey Janela. We knew that's coming. Right now, it's just, he's on top of the world. Number 1, Rini Yamashita. Some interesting picks out of PWI. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's such an odd meeting. What you say?
Well, did you pull that off of like just names that we saw and like you kind of put them in that order? Or did they put like a top 5 like GCW stuff?
Sorry, PWI will go by company, and then they will.
Oh, okay, cool.
So this was voted on by them as the top 5 GCW performers.
I think a name that's interesting that's not on there because we've seen her name all over the place, especially last year. I think she was the highest rated woman, Masha. I'm actually surprised she's not on the top 5 list there for GCW. That's interesting because, like I said, she was on the top list just a couple months ago at the end of the year off for being the top women's wrestler and stuff. So interesting. Maybe they just follow along too what's going on currently in the product, which is a cool little wrinkle that they add to that.
Yeah, I mean, currently I'd put Mance and Effie up there on that top 5, and I'd also look out for Maki Ito just because what she's doing is hot right now. She's popular. She's right up there with Nick Gage. So yeah, that's what I have for news for this week. So that's where we have landed so far. What do you think? You want to go into GCW Ashes to Ashes and get rolling for the evening?
All right, let's do it. So first show we are covering tonight, GCW Ashes to Ashes from the Showboat in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And it was a crazy card. I love to see all that death match on it. That got me excited. But I think each match had a chance to be like unique and crazy and fun in its own way. And it definitely delivered. I'm glad we got all the violence that we did this weekend. And Ashes to Ashes definitely did an amazing start to all that ultra violence.
So I'm looking at my notes here. The first thing I wrote down, the banners make it look more like home. I felt like it fills the room. They're lining the walls, some of the pillars. They're also alternating black and green. I like that for this weekend. We had black for Ashes to Ashes and green for So Much Fun. I really do hope they sell those things at a good price. I really want that black Danhausen banner. I don't know if you could see it, but right where they had it on hard cam there, just to the left of the entrance, that one looks so good.
Yeah, it looks cool.
So fans filled up the terminal here and they're loud. I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. So, I mean, just everything about it looked good. The video packages were all really good the whole night on production. GoPro did an awesome job covering the event. Everything was locked in place for a beautiful night of wrestling. And that's what happened here tonight.
Yeah, the crowd was hot too. I loved how hot they were to start off the night. And I kind of set the tone and they were hot the rest of the night. And it was awesome to see. So the first match is a 6-way match that got announced for the GCW Extreme title as the champion Joey Janela defended it against Alex Zane, Jack Cartwheel, Maki Ito, Marcus Mathers, and Jimmy Lloyd. And yeah, I don't have much to say during the match. It was kind of like you have it. It was you have good notes on the match. I'll let you kind of do with that. But my big notes are kind of after the match, obviously, with the result, and I'll pick it up after you do your notes there.
Sure. So in my notes I have here, chaos broke out quickly. Everyone was hitting their respective spots. This is kind of how a 6-way will go. I don't know if you've seen it. Cartwheel busted his face on a chair after a tope. He popped himself in the face real good. He kind of went over the top of the people, they kind of caught him. And when he rotated over, he rotated right over into a chair. It was, yeah. And it looked like he thought he screwed up his teeth at first, because when he hit, the first thing he did was check his, he went like this and then checked his, Maki ended up winning this. I'm going to kind of just go because I felt like this was, but Maki won this. We had new chants from the crowd. There are big benefits to her traveling with that belt. So I do see some benefits there. We'll get into that part here in a moment, but this was, I'm going to be critical. This was the Extreme title. there was nothing extreme in this match. The ending did seem kind of short and abrupt. Joey held that title for 517 days. Whether active or not, I feel a storyline could have happened and it could have been quite large. I don't know when or how. And again, this is just me playing with someone else's toys, but I really do feel here that Maki Ito can do something amazing. I just felt like maybe a 4 to a 6 week lead up would have really, filled the storylines a little bit there.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, we kind of talked about the Extreme title being gone, and when it kind of popped back up a couple weeks ago, I was excited. Then we didn't see it again for until this weekend. So I was kind of hoping Joey would lose it, honestly, no matter whenever it was, just to kind of see it on somebody. And as you said, it has a chance to be defended a lot more, which is what I want and what you want. And now they can hopefully, with that title being in the scene a lot more often, that hopefully they can start building storylines and hopefully going into collective, seeing what goes. But I think Maki Ito being the Extreme title holder is kind of cool, especially with back in Japan as well. And they're able to showcase those belts and stuff. I wonder how long she is going to hold it for. I thought out of anybody in this match, I was kind of shocked she won it. I thought it was going to be Jimmy Lloyd's kind of little moment there to kind of start teasing or start doing something with Cardona going into collective. But he's got his own stuff going on. But that was who I thought was going to win. But Maki coming out of left field was a pleasant surprise. I'm glad she came. This gives her something she came back to. She was gone for a couple months, and now she's back. She's champion, and she could just keep on going and keep riding that momentum, and hopefully keep on going with these storylines with Nick and the Maki Death Kill Gain. I think there's a lot that could be done with this Extreme title, and I'm glad that we have a new holder. And I think she probably has the most possibilities to do a lot of fun stuff outside of GCW with that belt, hopefully as well.
Yeah, I feel like that belt's going to travel internationally a lot, and it's just going to have a lot more function, and also that puts a belt on Maki, so that's just another feather she gets to put in her cap on that end. My picks for winner in this one, if it wasn't going to be Janela, was going to be either Jimmy Lloyd or Marcus Mathers. Jack Cartwheel's not really the extreme type. Neither is Alex Zane. They both have good faces. They're not going to want to fuck those things up. Marcus Mathers has a good face too, but he's more than willing to get cut every now and then. So that's where I was really going to go with this. And with Jimmy Lloyd, it would have just made him a bigger dick if they would have given him this, which played wonderfully into a storyline. And I would have seen where Cardona would have been more involved in those Extreme title matches then. But again, that's me playing with someone else's toys.
Same, and I would have had Jimmy Lloyd kind of be like, "Hey, you're the ultra-violent champion. I'm the extreme champion. Like, see, like we're both we both could be ultra-violent and get extreme when needed to." They could have played off something like that as well. That's why I kind of was picking or was hoping that Jimmy would win this match once it was announced for the title. But it was a nice surprise. Like I said, I don't think it was announced as a title match before, like literally it was announced. So that was to me, I got surprised, and I was happy to see that, and happy to see Maki Ito, and excited to see what she's going to do with that Extreme title, especially going into collective weekend.
Yeah, I see a lot of positives
next,
in this one.
Matt. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good, brother. That's the delay. It came out of left field, but I just see a lot of positives, and it's all good things.
Yeah. Next match is for the tag team titles, as the champions Violence is Forever defended it against team, I think, what did we say? Shunts last time it was. Sawyer Wreck and Dark Sheik. Love the name. I thought this was a good showcase match for Dark Sheik and Sawyer Wreck. Same thing with Sawyer Wreck. I feel like something like she was on such a big trajectory, and I think she kind of fell off I think she's right there with Alec Price for me. Like they both were kind of going up at the same time, and now kind of both cooled off. But I think this was a nice showcase match for her and Dark Sheik to get a tag team title match. I think they stepped up and took a lot of vicious shots from Violence is Forever, but also gave it back to them as well. And another strong title defense. I'm glad Violence is Forever was able to still look strong in this match, and I'm very excited now with everything coming on up with the Punjabi prison match and just all these tag teams in the tag division. The tag division's fun, man. There's a lot of different tag teams and competitors, and I'm glad they are building storylines, and I wish they would. I kind of hope they do a secondary one, build up a contender to whoever does win the Punjabi prison match. But overall, nice strong, successful title defense for Violence is Forever.
I don't even know how much to really add here from what you just said. So this was the first match with weapons for the night. I can say that. And the other one I wanted to mention, just because it was awesome and Sheik's known for this, Sheik had this red Carnage outfit on that I thought was like Spider-Woman or something at first, but no, it's red Carnage from what I can tell. And I'm probably going to hear from Sheik if I'm wrong, but it looked awesome either way. You're right. Violence is Forever won this one. Again, another short match, a little less than 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's
all I have to say.
A little disappointing as well, but I enjoyed it for what it was worth, and it gave a spotlight to Dark Sheik and Sawyer Rex. So I'm glad they were able to get a spotlight in AC here. Our next match is a 6-person tag match, as it is the team of Los Macizos teaming with Oni El Bendito going against the team. I don't know if it's in your notes. I loved how you called we're probably going to talk about it too. New South faction, Team New South here, as Teriyaki, Hunter Drake, and Mr. Danger go against Los Macizos and Bendito. And I was excited to see what kind of match this would kind of go. I've got young high flyers on one side and just grindy technical wrestlers on the other. Not technical, more extreme with the Los Macizos. But I think they meshed well together, and I loved this tag match. It was good. It was fast paced. I got a little scared with Teriyaki at the beginning. Looked like he kind of got knocked a little loopy there, but recovered real fast and had a good showing. Had a good showing the rest of the time. Like, I really got scared. I thought it was like so early in the match. Like, I thought maybe he would just be done with it. But when I saw him came back and he looked like he gathered himself pretty good, I was happy to see that and happy to see him healthy and still deliver strong. I think the rest of the match, especially pairing up his spots with Bendito, looked really good in my opinion.
Yeah, we're going to get into it again later here just because we have some notes coming up. But Oni, he started out that match with a tope. There was no ring bell. There was no nothing. It's just 6 foot plus flying out of the ring. I like him wearing black. I think it looks great. Later on in the match, there was another tope where he landed and then he was going so fast that he landed and hit, I forget who. They slid into the 4th row. It was just phenomenal. I thought Teriyaki got his ribs bruised from Oni in a top rope spot. I felt like this weekend was really rough on Terry's body, but he's young, so he'll bounce back quickly. The last note I have here, I really loved Drake's Code Red. It was just really awesome to watch. He did a great rendition of it. So in a little under 8 minutes here, our winner and new star in GCW, Oni El Bendito.
Yeah. Like I talked about before, like he had a little off match with Myron, picked it up the next night. And I think these multi-man matches that we were kind of talking about, it's a little bit better right now for him, kind of showcasing his cool moves while also kind of getting him into the flow and into these matches and kind of getting the chemistry built with some of these GCW regulars that he's hopefully going to be paired off against here soon. And I was happy to see him bounce back again. And he teams with Los Macizos, I think, pretty fluidly, and it was fun to see them as a trios again. And Team New South definitely stepped up. Nice to see Hunter Drake, Mr. Danger back, and Teriyaki. I love seeing all 3 of them just flying all over the ring. Like chaos, you had chaos, and I thought that was the best word that described this match. Our next match of the evening is a grudge match as Charles Mason goes against Danhausen. And nice to see Danhausen come out serious. I think Charles Mason's promo was perfect at the beginning to set the stage to see a different version of Danhausen. So that way, like fans, maybe not too hardcore fans, like just see always happy Danhausen and then, hey, why is he evil? I think Mason set it up perfectly to get Danhausen in that mindset. And Danhausen looked really good. I think Charles Mason and Danhausen paired off quite well with each other. And yeah, I'll let you go into the notes, and I got some more stuff afterwards.
Sure. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to mention, Pero took a road spike to the eye from Danhausen. He was assisted to the back, and that was the last we had seen of Pero during that match. Also, GCW's version, the Curse of Danhausen, I feel is much better than AEW's version of Danhausen. It's kind of too comical for me, but this match, based upon the fact that this was GCW's version of Danhausen, was much better than I expected because of that reason. So I didn't know how much you kind of felt on that one, but the level of wrestling really did. The match quality was just better overall. I feel you probably felt the same thing.
Yep, and I'm glad that Danhausen was able to showcase. Like we talked about, I think before when we had the Phoenix guys on, but like the Danhausen back when the Black Label Pro Danhausen before AEW that's the one I liked before he was like kind of comedic in AEW, but I enjoyed this version, especially paired up against Mason was, I think, perfectly because of how Mason's character is. And I loved how Danhausen got rid of Perro with that spike at the beginning. That was a cool, smart move to get rid of the big boss so he's not hanging out the entire match. I thought that was cool, like it happened at the beginning too. And Prazak kind of mentioning how important that was to get Perro out of it because of how much he's been involved lately. I love that little wrinkle there. I kind of popped on and I enjoyed. But overall, I think it was a great return for Danhausen and GCW.
Yeah, that was Danhausen's equalizer, I think is a good way to put that. So in just a touch under 10 minutes, Danhausen pulled off the win. This is where we start to see that Mason is changing. I don't know if it's falling apart, cracking, maybe, I don't know, but it seems like he's showing both of those things. The recent losses have changed him, and we don't know how just yet. But there's always something brewing in Mason's mind. We know that he's a cerebral character. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the next iteration is. I know you've spoken about Mason before where you're saying you do want to see something new. You want to put that challenge before him to, give us something different. I enjoy it a lot. So I'm really curious to see what's happening next. And yours is more like a challenge. You're thinking, you know what? Give me something different. Give me something to bite on. So I'm really curious here. I don't want to speculate because I don't know how to speculate on Charles Mason, but I'm trying to figure out what changes. He's in an excellent spot right now with Perro. He has his muscle, then he has, Holiday. That's an excellent spot to be in. Like, what's the evolution?
I'm right there. Like, I think the reason I'm challenging him because he's kind of said on Twitter, change is coming, change is needed, change has to happen. But then he gets out there and nothing has changed. That's what's kind of throwing me off is like, I get excited. I want to see this change. And then the last like 2 or 3 times he's teased that, I haven't seen really anything change other than him kind of get a soft spot. And I'm glad that they did that video package at the end with Perros. Like, where's that fucking monster at? Like, where's the Connor? Where's that killer that I fought? Like, I love everything. Like, I followed you. Now, like, you're not that killer. Like, why am I this big muscle man following you? You're not even like the killer I want no more. So I love that's a progression for Perro after all this time because it's been almost a year now. Well, it's been over a year since he's been involved with this stuff. And with Mason, I kind of wanted to see him progress a little bit. And he hasn't done nothing until now. And I'm glad that he's doing that. And it seems like Richard Holiday, he kind of is like distancing himself. He's kind of like, hey, like, I think like during the entrance, he's telling Perro, like, hey, Mason ain't here. We got it. Like, we're the muscle here. We're the ones that are important. He's just using, like he didn't say it, but just kind of the way he's acting. So I do see some dissension kind of happening. And I'm glad that at least Perro is now progressing some towards something, hopefully with that little comment and video. And I know Mason says we're going to see change, but we haven't seen it yet. And I want to see it. And I'm hoping that maybe that's even means Perro turning on Mason to kind of snap him out of it. Who knows? And that would be a fun little grudge match to go into collective with a big story behind it as well.
Yeah, there's something going on there. He's withdrawn. It sounds like it's the rebuild, reload kind of period. It just depends on how you look at it. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. He's got 2 other teammates right now. That's kind of the way I look at it. And they do need him. So we'll see where it all goes. Maybe he's going to go singles. Maybe, I don't know, he adds another person to the group. But there's a lot of power and influence there. And I hope he gets back on his feet and uses that appropriately because that seems to be his forte.
Yeah, I'm wondering too, like maybe Holiday kind of like, hey, our leader's not being the leader. They kind of push him out, and maybe Richard Holiday kind of takes over and sets something up with that. I don't know. I'm interested. I want to see change, and hopefully we do get some answers to that here soon.
A feud is coming.
All right. Yeah, for sure. And I can't wait to see who or what it's going to be. All right, some more ultraviolence on the way as Brandon Kirk goes against John Wayne Murdoch. Glad that that Brandon Kirk's back. Glad to see him going against John Wayne Murdoch. Especially with what happened kind of that night with Casey and all that storyline. I think especially the next night too. There's a lot of stories, fun times that's going to happen there. But I think Kirk was a bright spot all weekend. He was kind of showcased all weekend long on all the shows, and I'm glad because I think he has a fun little character and dimension to him that is different from what we've seen in the ultraviolet kind of title scene that we've seen in GCW. But I think Kirk has a spot, and I'm glad to see him and Casey kind of getting that spot now. And I think it elevated this match. Just elevated with John Wayne Murdoch. He makes anybody look good, and I think this was a good reintroduction of Brandon Kirk into the GCW fans.
All right, so in my notes, I have here that I saw a barbed wire board, a board with Christmas bulbs, cut up cans, chairs, a chain, gusset plates, and a knife board. And I'm sure I missed a couple things because there was so much going on in this one. Kirk uses a kid as a weapon. I didn't count the kid as one of the weapons in this one, but he looked like he was kind of scared and kind of enjoying himself all at the same time. You saw his face, right? I think he was like, you want to go for a ride? He's like, no. And then like right before it became the kick, you see his face like, yeah, give him that good old kick. I think he did warm up to it, but I was like, get scared at first too. Yeah, that last 5 or 10% was really what the kid enjoyed more than anything. So Murdoch ends up winning this one. This is a little over 13 minutes. He says Brandon can come back to GCW. Fuck the chains. He hits Kirk in the balls, though. Casey comes out and saves Brandon. Brandon's answer to the Kirk's coming back to GCW on Twitter. One of the fans asked on my page. His answer was patience. I like that answer. We're going to get deeper into that one here further on, but I like that answer. So that wasn't in our top news stories. I really wanted to go deeper so the fans can kind of, But yeah, DeMonto's probably shutting down ICW and HB. I don't know the politics of anything, the money or the people, so I won't speak on it. I just feel overall the fans lost in this scenario. So I do know that companies do come and go though. And NHB's recorded a lot of deathmatch wrestling. It all has historical value. So I hope someone buys and takes care of that library. That's my opinion on it, and that's kind of what I wanted to say about it. What do you think, Brant?
I hope that means we get some more names that we haven't seen in a while or ever.
Bingo.
Because of, as we said, politics or whatever with the ICW and the chains. I hope that frees up a lot more people, and hopefully GCW accepts them and lets them kind of showcase it. Because I talked a couple podcasts ago about wanting to see new American deathmatch wrestlers on the scene, and because I have felt like I haven't seen any in a while outside of GCW because I haven't really watched the chains and all the other deathmatch companies outside. So I think this kind of helps my my prediction out there. I want to see new names, and hopefully this means I do get to see new names. I think one of the ones that you were kind of hinting at there of the Kirks, and when it said patience, I kind of do hope it leads to some big names that we haven't seen and big kind of stories that could happen, because I think that's a whole nother story that could be told in GCW that just fits right in, and boom, you got a storyline that with history, and it could kick right off in or continue in GCW, and the fans will get behind it. And I think it could provide a lot of stuff with the new talent possibly being involved in. That's kind of where I was kind of going was. Yeah, the chains, like I saw, 5 shows left, they said, and I just hope that we get some of that talent. And I know some of the other companies that they were working with was a little bit out there, and we probably won't be seeing those ones, but from the actual ICW and chains people that were on there regularly, mostly specifically on their shows, I'm excited and hopeful we see them on GCW.
I do know that 12 hours ago, Cruel posted, "There are no strings on me." Speaking of American deathmatch wrestling,
loved that.
Just wanted to kind of throw that one out there.
I know you love that, but I love that too.
I am. I'm a big Cruel fan. I'm a big fan of the big bodies. That's the 80s in me. But I see a monster, and that's GCW style, in my personal opinion. I also think that we need an imposing monster. We have one in Pero, which is respectfully there, but he's by Charles Mason's side. We need someone who's an independent ass kicker, not against someone like him coming in. And we need to showcase the best of American, Japanese, Mexican talent. It'd be a real shame to not have Cruel included in our history of deathmatch library that we have. We'll see.
Yeah. Yep. That fun. exciting times I think are to come in GCW and just in wrestling in general.
Yeah.
Our sixth matchup of the evening was another fan favorite as Micro Man goes against Tony Deppen. Um, I'll kind of go beforehand. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed we haven't seen more from Tony since his comeback, and I don't know specifically that falls on him or whatnot, because I know he's kind of talked about slowing it down, wrestling, still focusing on his real job, but still wrestling when he can and wants to. But I don't know. When he came back, I was kind of hoping a little of a push, or even towards the JCW title, or just wanted to see a little bit more. I know he's still getting these fun spotlight matches with Micro Man and some of the other names that they comes into GCW, but I want to see more. I was hoping to see something different from Tony, and just haven't seen it as of late. That's one thing I just kind of noticed going into this match. But other than that, this match was fun. It was a Tony Deppen special with Micro Man. I think delivered a lot of fun spots, and yeah, it's kind of disappointing too. See, Tony Deppen doesn't have anything lined up for a collective, so that's just where I was kind of leaning towards this match.
Fingers crossed. You know how that goes. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it was mentioned a couple months ago that you're right. I think he was kind of not going as hardcore at GCW as he was before. You watch a lot of baseball, Brant. What happens when a baseball player generally gets hit in the face, the eye, whenever they back off the plate? They're not as aggressive. You know, back in the old days, some pitchers would say one of the best pitches you have is called the bow tie, because it goes right here. So it makes me wonder if, you take a big injury and you're like, you know what am I pushing it for? Maybe I need to go out there, rely on the quality match that I can have by this way. Because he shines in so many other ways that he's so goddamn good in the ring when it comes to the fundamentals. It's just fantastic. He's an excellent heel. What are you going to do? In this match, he was his usual dickish self, which I absolutely love. I don't know. I'm going to start watching a little more to see, because I'm thinking that maybe I'm not watching it hard enough to see everything that you're saying. But yeah, my best example is if you see somebody really get injured, even in BMX or something, man, they don't act the same after that. Generally, their tricks aren't as good anymore. They slow down a little. Maybe he's just trying to preserve himself for the long run. He does have a business on the side too. So, priorities may shift. And if he's doing well, hopefully the priorities are shifting.
Yeah, I don't think it's more on him. I think it's just more booking wise. They didn't have anything like lined up for him or kind of leading into it. It's kind of where I'm kind of leaning on. I don't think it's like necessarily him. He's still doing what he can and still doing his Tony Deppen shit during all these matches. So he's still doing the fun stuff that we all love to see. But I just wish that booking he would have had a little bit more purpose, or little bit, like I said, a big spotlight going into collective, because he usually gets some pretty fun matches going into collective weekend, and it just feels a regular not getting that shine doesn't sit right with me at the moment.
Well, with Tony Deppen in this match, I feel like he was chosen to do this with Micro Man based upon his creativity, because when you're wrestling with
this was a good match for him.
Right. So I think this is one where they're wanting to go out there. I mean, really, Micro Man and Janela, just the level of creativity could really bring something different that GCW fans may have not seen before. But Micro Man, that's another story. He is way, way over. He can do no wrong whatsoever. Also, I just want to give it up to Emil. He did the Spanish announcement for Micro Man. So I thought that was kind of cool. He just had to plug and play a couple words, as he does with Los Macizos. But yeah, I always like to say Gallo de Gallo. I don't know why. It's always kind of cool. But yeah, I think I announced the winner here, but Micro Man in just a touch under 7 minutes. So even this one was a quick match. But, you meet Tony Deppen once, you love him. What are you going to do? But he's a smart man. So chances are he's doing what's best for him. And you got to respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was glad to see him get this match too. I thought he delivered on a lot of fun stuff with Micro Man. I thought this was a perfect opponent for Micro Man in GCW. Next match is another tag team match, as we finally get to see the team of Blake Christian and Shane Mercer go against the Garbage Daddies. It was a good match. A lot of talent in the ring. Thought they had a good flow, good back and forth. I Still want to see a little bit more from Blake, Christian, and Mercer as a team, kind of build a little bit more chemistry. But I liked storyline how they kind of let Mercer do all the hard lifting and stuff. And I want to see put over more Shane Mercer doing all the heavy lifting and Blake kind of doing the orders. And we got a little bit during this match. I just want to see a little bit more because I think it could lead into another possible turn with if Blake Christian survives collective as champion, with Shane Mercer doing like a Batista turn on Blake Christian, Triple H style. I just kind of think Shane Mercer could do a lot of that role, kind of like I expect more from Pero. Just want more to get the more freedom and Mercer to get more freedom to showcase a little bit more character development in their roles as a manager instead of just there as a muscle and as a background piece for Blake Christian, for Charles Mason. And yeah, this match did a good job. And Garbage Daddies, I don't know, still have issues with the booking of Alec Price, and I wanted the Garbage Daddies to get some momentum behind them because all these losses are starting to piss me off here. Being a fan of both
the Alec singles losses is what you're saying right now, because we were talking about this. I think the past show you were saying that Alec kind of had a lot of he had a big push going, it seemed like, and then all of a sudden he was taking more losses than usual. Probably right around the time that Jordan Oliver left. It seemed like when Jordan was coming back little by little, around those times where Jordan and Alec had like a 3-match back-to-back situation going on. And yeah, you're saying basically it's just that push isn't there. So now he's into a tag, and I'm just making sure
they're
that
even losing. And like that, I just want them like
now
as a tag team. They're a fun fan favorite tag team, but they've just taken L after L. And yeah, maybe we'll get the fans to get behind them, and when they get the wins and start building up momentum, they'll I think get hot shotted to that way. But I think as of right now, a lot of momentum that Alec Price had as a singles competitor going into this tag team with Cole Radrick, I was kind of hoping that momentum would be absorbed by Cole Radrick and the tag team, but it seemed like it's kind of got pushed off to the side, and the Garbage Daddies have no momentum in my opinion at the moment. But they're still a talented young tag team that the fans love to see. So they're going to be put in all these tag matches just because everybody wants to see them.
Yeah, I want to see him win. I'm happy to see him win. Daddies do something new in the ring every weekend. Now there's matching jerseys. I can't express enough like how much fans do love the Garbage Daddies. If I could get like a straight hotline to someone important, they go over like crazy. They're two of my favorite wrestlers together too. So I'm going to be kind of leaning towards one side on that one. And then, yeah. So Christian, we'll talk about Blake for just a minute here. He was really animated with the fans when he was coming out. He tried to make a guy laugh in the front row. Also, I'm noticing we have old school Blake. He's got the mustache and the curly hair back. I don't know how much you noticed of that, but he's also more aggressive and colorful tonight. He had more personality. The difference made his character more entertaining to watch tonight. So I will say that if he keeps incorporating a little bit of himself and the humor in with his dick heel character, it makes his character more palatable. So when he does do something spoiler wise, he's I don't have a better word for it. It's just a little more palatable. A lot of people don't like spoiler heels. And so if you can make me laugh or smile every now and then, you know, I'll take it. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. Mercer's strength was shown in this match quite a bit. Him and Blake now have a few team moves. They do work well together. My concern here, Blake has 38 straight wins as a GCW world champion, and he just got a big brother. That's freaking dangerous.
That's what I was saying. There's a chance he might walk out of collective still champion in that, because when Mercer got involved, like I was like, that's kind of late in this Blake Christian title run, where it made me kind of wonder what was going to happen with that. But then seeing all these title challengers going after Blake and everyone wanting a shot at the belt, yeah, I don't know what to expect. I do kind of hope they do. If Blake does lose the title, hopefully they can do some fun work as a tag team in the tag division with all those teams there. But that's what kind of makes me question what might happen at collective with the GCW title. And that's a good thing, though. It's not a bad thing. If he does win, I kind of wonder what's going to happen there and if they miss their chance. But with all these challengers, I still think there's some life left with Blake as a champion, especially now with Mercer as his muscle. It added a little bit more life. I just wonder how much longer it added life to the GCW title reign.
Well, they're doing well in this one. They ended up beating the Garbage Daddies in a little under 14 minutes. So they made decent work of the Garbage Daddies. Yeah, please, more of them to come. I'm looking forward to seeing what can happen there.
Yes, same. All right, next match was one that I think everybody was looking forward to. It is the Atlantic City strap match as Effie goes against Mance Warner. This was one of those ones, go out and watch it. You want to watch like just two brothers going at it, beating the shit out of each other, telling a good story. I think commentary did an amazing job of laying out to the backstory and showing like the viciousness of the whips with Alley Catch coming out, the other wrestlers coming out to help defend at the end. I loved every piece of this storytelling. This is cinema. Fuck the bloodline. Fuck everything that WWE is doing. This is what I've been wanting to see in GCW. And yeah, Effie Mance definitely took some that leather strap, man. That was loud. They were taking some loud hits across the back, across the face, across everywhere. It was brutal. And yeah, nothing to say. Just awesome bloodbath. This is what this felt like old territory, old deep South grudge match, just beating the hell out of each other, not worrying about who wins and who loses. And I love that because it just got the intensity and to the story, and I loved it.
Yeah, did you see that it had a handle? The strap had a handle, and it was like a double leather strap. So it was going to make extra sound. Like, it was a really great choice and a little different than normal.
Yeah, I kind of got worried too. Like when the match started, with it being on the pole, I was like, "Wait, where's the match at?" Like I kind of maybe missed the announcement of that because like, what are they fighting for? There's no strap going on. And then I saw it up there, and then like, yeah, when it was used, and I saw the two ends, I was wondering like if it was more sound or if it's like double velocity too. But it did both of its purposes.
It's just S&M shit. You know how it goes. So I hope fans are really enjoying the alarmingly high level of violence and danger that are going on right now. I feel like Effie and Mance are really laying down an example to other performers as to how to create, build, and execute a story. And I hope more pay attention to that, because if you look at most of the I'm trying to think of a good word for it, but the ones who've been the most successful at GCW, they're the ones that are attached to storylines. It can be from 3 years ago with some older people that are around or people today. Storylines are really where it's at. What do you think Cardona tries to do every time? If it was something where he could just get in the ring, yeah, and if he could just get in the ring and do it, he could, because if anybody could, he would. But he chooses not to do it that way, and there's a reason. And partially it's because entertainment value. Also, that story becomes a part of you, so that keeps a part of you constantly fresh. Anyway, I'll go ahead and get back into that a little bit later. Also, Mance and Effie putting on a lot of effort into those promos. We'll catch them halfway through the week sometimes. Again, excellent example. Everybody is constantly on their phones doing this or that on Instagram or Twitty on Twitter. You know, it's honest, man. Get up in the morning, grab your fucking phone. You know, like I said, cut a promo right there on the spot. It's not that hard. I came up with, you know what? Like I said, we talked about this before. Grab your phone and be like, hey, you know what? It's 2 a.m. in the morning. I can't fucking sleep. Let me tell you why I can't sleep, because right. And you just go with those and you make those happen. And then that solidifies your fan base. Same reason why we do this. It's to kind of collect everybody together like a family. That's what you do. Jordan Oliver cuts a promo. All the Jordan Oliver fans get to see it. It's fantastic. So Mance comes out, takes the camera during his intro, and he's pointing at Clown Lady. He says, Jesus fucking Christ, and then flips her off. Then he says, what the fuck? And then gives the camera over back to, yeah. And that was great. Effie's burning hammer on Mance through a door face first. I had to put that in my notes because that was just fucking brutal. That, yeah, like we said it here, that interesting double strap. A couple of those shots got Effie real good. The next night, you can see there were huge bruises on his back, his chest, his sides. Like, he got lit up pretty good. Mance threatening to beat up a fan mid-match, and the fans are yelling with real emotions, like old school heat. It's beautiful, and you can generally only get that from the South. So yeah, this all has the South built in. Mance is the South. You can tell this is an IWA wrestler. This is a Mid-South guy for sure. A drill into Effie's head causes hair to be pulled from his scalp. The The Garbage Daddies and Thrunt then come out to help Effie. Effie then cuts a beautiful promo. He loves his friends. He loves Game Changer Wrestling. I feel like this whole thing was wrapped up and done well at the end. It's a great story. I recommend that everyone watches this match. They gave us everything in this match for the second time in a row, and I guarantee there's going to be a third. It is not over yet. 23 minutes. Effie came out with the win. We're being given independent wrestling gold right now. That is a 5-star quality story going on, and it's multi-tiered. It's involving a good chunk of the locker room. Like, it's sucking everyone in. Wonderful. Beautiful. Bravo.
Yeah, that was brutal when Effie got this hair big chunk pulled out of his head. That was crazy. Yeah, it was nuts. This was I loved it. It was a pull apart brawl. You had the locker room come out. The fans were like, what the hell? It was fun in a violent way. And like, yeah, you're the Deep South that had the old feeling all over it. And Mance and Effie have been telling that story wonderfully throughout this whole thing in GCW. And as you said, like, I keep on saying, like, what are they going to do after that? Like, okay, we got the strap match. It elevated it to another thing. After the strap match, I'm like, oh my God, that's got to be it. Nope, that ain't it. The next night, Mance Warner comes out and beats up Effie again and continues it on and challenges him for another match. And I love it because the violence and the steps, they just keep going to another level. And it reminds me a lot of the Jimmy Lloyd G-Raver feud when they were feuding back in the day when I first was getting into GCW, and the violence and like just these two being in the same building and by each other. Like it's been fun. The intensity, everything's been well produced. The matches have been perfectly laid out and executed. The violence has just been on another level. I enjoying the story, and we've been asking for it. And yeah, we're definitely loving everything we've been getting for sure for both of them.
We begged for storylines, and this is what they gave us. It's a main event storyline from two main event wrestlers. We can't ask for better. This is what we want. We wanted something to chew on, so we didn't just see match, then go home and can't remember shit half the time. No, now we have something to kind of remember, and this is a beautiful rolling storyline. If we had 2 or 3 more like these in GCW, we'd even have more to talk about on these shows. So I'm impressed. I'm happy. That's all I want to say about it until the next episode.
All right, we'll move on to another death match, as this one is 2 legends. Abdullah Kobayashi goes against Matt Tremont. Glad they both got this match. This is a pairing I wanted to see happen, go against each other, especially with both of them kind of nearing the ends of their career. I think they both delivered an ultra violent bloodbath here, and I love that their facial reactions and how bloody both of them get from their foreheads and their bald heads and their facial reactions. This was a good, fun death match, but when the violence got in, it was good. And Kobayashi, I want to see some more Kobayashi in GCW. I know he's probably not no TOS, can't do no 3 matches in a row, but man, if I can see him a little bit more often, it's been fun to watch him showcase his talents in GCW.
You know, he follows me on Twitter. I started to look at some of his posts. Like, he is such a nice, happy guy. You know what I mean? Like the typical, very nice, happy Japanese gentleman that, you know, like, here's a picture of my food. Here's something happy I found at the gift shop. Like that kind of an individual. And I like that. Personality really wins me over a lot of times. This match, I really wanted to go back and count, but it was 13.5 minutes long. There were easily over 50 headbutts. I've never seen that many headbutts in a match before, ever. Tremont was doing it until he was bleeding, and then Abdullah was bleeding, and I'm like, holy, it was something new to me. And after almost 40 years of wrestling, I'm welcome to see anything new anymore. I saw glass tubes, regular tube bundles. I saw barbed wire, a water jug attached to a fucking kendo stick or something, a light tube rake, glass pane bridge, barbed wire baseball bat, a wah-wah bag with Kenzans. And to top it off, Abdullah and fans got to sing happy birthday to Matt Tremont. I'll leave it there with my notes. Our winner in this one was Abdullah Kobayashi.
I love the happy birthday to Tremont too. Kobayashi, Kobayashi still was nice and respectful to Tremont before the bloodbath occurred. Tremont was hyped this whole weekend. Like he was like yelling at the fans, "Get the fuck up!" Like I love that energy. Like it make like in him and Nick Gage, their energies that they've been showing me lately. It's like, yeah, I keep thinking they're near the end and we're gonna stop seeing them a little bit more, but they come out and showcase like their energy and a love for wrestling here. Like I excited. We're gonna see a lot more Tremont. We're gonna see a lot more Gage, and getting back-to-back nights of Gage was awesome. And yeah, Tremont, I'm glad to see him get these spotlight matches, and I still think there's a couple more out there, especially with how he seems to be enjoying wrestling now. I think he can still put on a lot of good performances here in GCW. Hopefully, ultraviolet in an ultraviolet sense here soon. All right, and that leads us into our main event, which was another death match as Ryuji Ito goes against Nick Gage. And yeah, like I said, Nick Gage, he was amped to the gills. Ito just went bloody, and I'm glad Prazak, like I think it was Prazak that made mention on commentary, like, hey, like just realize how special it is. You get these two legends now performing deathmatch in GCW. Like before, like these kind of things couldn't be done, and GCW's putting these dream death matches with legends together. And this weekend being a prime example of it. I'm just glad that Prazak made mention of it too, for showcase the importance of everyone involved this weekend and during these matches.
So this is a match where I'm also going to say, just go back and watch it. And I basically say that because we have two legends having a death match. This is something that they've been doing both well over 20 years each. There's just glass everywhere in this one. We had two Tokyo Towers. It was just extremely bloody. As I said, just for historical value alone, just go watch it. 14 and a half minutes in this one. And you know it, Nick Gage is our winner.
Those are two of the biggest Tokyo Towers I've ever seen.
Yeah, they were
giant.
I love them.
Yeah, they were huge.
I love them,
like when they picked them up, I'm like, how are you going to hit somebody with that? Like, no, just drop it all over and watch all the glass shatter. it was awesome to see that thing explode.
Well, it was a great main event here. There was a total of 118 minutes of wrestling in this show. You can't beat that. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, especially seeing some of these numbers coming on when you go to Raw or SmackDown, or was it Elimination Chamber a couple of weeks ago, that all that whole show, like 30 minutes in between matches, 40 minutes in between this match. Like, no, as a fan, that's why GCW is like so different live and in person. Like there's no slowing down. There's no intermissions unless they're building some crazy fuckery. Like we'll hopefully see a Cage of Survival. I'm glad that was announced as well with that TOS. Yeah, you're going to enjoy your time at a GCW show, and enjoy lots and lots of wrestling with no downtime. And if you're lucky, you might have a wrestler land in your lap here.
Or two.
All right. All right. All right. That is it for GCW Ashes to Ashes. And we're going to move on to the next night as GCW returns to the Showboat in Atlantic City with so much fun. And yeah, started off hot with a scramble match as Teriyaki, Hunter Drake, Rico Gonzalez, Braden Toon, Bendito, Marcus Mathers, and Tony Deppen round out all the competitors in the scramble. I love Prazak at the beginning. It's like, were we done with all these competitors? Why is Tony coming out here? There's another one just added into here. Yeah, Prazak was awesome on commentary as well all weekend. Yeah, fun scramble match to open up the show.
So the first four participants introduced for this scramble were New South guys. I'm starting to think New South should have their own stable in GCW. They're really good together. I feel like it's the modern Young, Dumb, and Broke. Plus, most of the New South wrestlers are well-trained in ring. So that's something I really wanted to put in there also. But yeah, Teriyaki, Hunter Drake, Rico Gonzalez, Braden Toon, they can all kind of handle themselves on their own considering their age. But you put two or three in the ring together, I mean, you're fucking with a situation that's not going to be very easy to deal with. So I thought that in their situation, you know, they're young kids that are still doing their thing. They're strong, they're passionate, but their strength may be in numbers. And I feel like those four could really do some damage in GCW. If anything, just be ultimate disruptors. So just a little thing out there. I don't know. What are you thinking about it? Like a team New South of some sort, like a little faction.
And they all bring something unique and different moveset wise to the table, and I would love to see it because I think their differences mesh well together when they are put in these scrambles or like in the tag team the night before. You see some of their chemistry with working against each other so much down south, and their chemistry kind of put together in GCW in these scrambles. You see it kind of go along. And I know when we first saw these guys, like at that Atlanta show, I remember, yeah, Rico, I want to see more of him. Teriyaki, more of him. Braden, you saw Braden. You were hopped on the first show, and I was hopped on like every other show afterwards, and he's been incredible to watch. And yeah, seeing a stable with those would kind of be fun. And going into like the collective, when you get the Defy showing up and we get the TJPW going against GCW, like I love watching when the GCW goes to New South. We get these GCW versus New South going on, but a storyline kind of weaving into it would kind of be fun. Yeah, with those four.
Well, you know what? Yeah, Teriyaki. I think the first show we saw, we were like, okay, instant Teriyaki. We love him. I remember Rico Gonzalez, same thing. Hunter Drake, same thing. I was a little rough on Hunter Drake about something, and I wanted to be fair on that because I said, look, that kid needs to take in calories and hit weights. But you know what? I'll tell you why. I see a kid with a good face, long hair. He's got the Jordan Oliver torso. He's somebody that if he decides to do that, he's probably going to go Jordan's route. He'll end up with nice broad shoulders. All the ladies and men may really like him a lot. He's one of those ones that I feel like just because he can maybe do a dive or whatnot, I don't know if he necessarily should. In his situation, it might be about preservation until he pops when he's older. That's just my personal opinion on him. That's why I said I was rougher on him before, but if I ever had a chance to just sit down and talk to him, that's what I'd say. I'd say don't shortchange yourself. Get serious about what you're doing out there, because if you do, it will show physically and mentally. And talk to Jordan Oliver, because he is an example of going from this skinny little kid up to this full-grown muscular man, and it has changed his game completely. And that's something I'd like to see for Hunter. Last, Tune. I love Tune. I loved him from day one. The minute I saw him, I went, this kid is something else. Fundamentally in ring, he's solid. He put a good performance in this night. He puts a good performance in almost any night. I look at him and just the way he moves doesn't tell me 21 years old. But luckily, we have a lot of time left in him for many, many years. And then last, I'm wondering out there in the fan world, is Oni El Bandito growing on anyone yet? I think in this match he did great. Someone on Cage Match said he may be Bandito's greatest find at his gym, which is very possible. But I remember the first time El Bandito came out was in LA, and his performance was so. And everybody was like, get this guy the hell out of here. And I said, no. Because what I noticed was when Bandito hit something big, the fans popped heavy. So that's why when we did see him in a singles, it wasn't that good. I think it was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, just being honest. And then he said, you know what, let's get him into scrambles. Let's get him into some trios or six-way or whatnot. And the minute we did that, we hid the inadequacies. And then we were able to give him 5, 6, 7 spots a show. He hit those and walks out looking like $1 million. So for right now, just to hide some of those things until he's fundamentally where he needs to be, I really do like Oni in that position. And I've been as far down as I can with him since day one at GCW. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Same thing with Marcus Mathers. Last thing I'll say, that kid's the future, man. I really do strongly believe in him down the road. I think same thing. He's got a good face. He's got a good mind on him. I would like to see him stay away from the death match just a little, not to fuck his face up. But outside of that, I see a beautiful future ahead of him too, if he can just keep his head above water. That was a lot.
No, I'm glad you said that, because I didn't even put Bandito and Bandito together like that. That's who he reminds me. Like I said, like he offers something different as a luchador in these scramble matches he's been doing with Gringo. Like he does the high flying stuff, but like he adds like the strength. And yeah, that was Bandito. That's what made him stand out differently from being a luchador. Not only could he do all the high flying stuff, but he was awesome on the ground too, which I was glad that he had that match with Brian Danielson and got to showcase a lot of work there too. But Bandito's one of his biggest things is his strength. And yeah, that's one thing I've been saying with Bandito, that I didn't even know they trained together. That makes complete sense now. And yeah, now I can see the comparison there, which was glad. Thank you for smartened me up there. And yeah, Brandon too, 21. I didn't know he's that young. Jesus, man. Yeah,
Yes.
I love what he's doing. And that's what the big note I took from this whole scramble was. I loved how it was like a showcase opening scramble. It did what it needs to do for the scramble, but I saw improvement from every single competitor. And like every single time we see them, we see the improvements. And that's us. That's all as a fan we could ask for, is seeing these wrestlers improve and keep on growing right in front of our eyes. And I think it's cool seeing that in this show, in this scramble showcase, just there, that how much each talent improved over the short amount of time in between shows. And I love watching out for that kind of stuff. That will lead us to match 2 as the previous tag team of the Rich and Powerful, but it is Holiday teaming with Pero teaming with Holiday instead of Charles Mason, going against the Garbage Daddies again. Yeah, it was a good progression. I think both teams, it kind of continued their story that they have going on with each other, which I did like. I didn't like that it was short again for a tag team match with our fan favorites, but once again, I think it just also showcases, like, with the storylines that Violence is Forever and the Punjabi prison match going on, we have teams like Rich and Powerful and Garbage Daddies that we just waiting at the, seems like near the end of the line right now in the tag division, but everybody, that line is so long and so stacked with talent. And I just, yeah, once again, I wrote, I don't like all the losses the Garbage Daddies has of late. Again, but at least this one is story. It made kind of sense. Like, they've had a story going on with Pero and Holiday with Mason get involved in their matches as of late. So that this one I wasn't too butthurt, I guess, on compared to some of these other losses I've seen with the Garbage Daddies.
You know what? I get it though. What it's doing is here, it's hitting you right in the heart. That's a good thing, because that's what faces are supposed to do. Yeah, the Garbage Daddies, we kind of talked about it as much as we could, but the fans need that team. It's like, we need more feel good right now. A lot of evil is at the top of the food chain. So if there's any time we can just kind of smile, laugh, love to do it. Continuity. Pero's bandage on his eye from that Danhausen attack the night before. I really do appreciate they did that. Again here, a very, very, very quick match, less than 7 minutes. Rich and Powerful pull it off without Charles Mason, by the way, because he told those two to go out and do it themselves. So that's exactly what they did. Later online, I think maybe it was today even, there was a point where Holiday said, look, man, we need you back, and quickly. So you need to get it together. And again, Mason withdrawn. Who the hell knows?
So I'm glad you said that, because I was about to say, this is kind of what I was talking about Holiday earlier, but like, it kind of seems like they don't need him, where him and Pero pick up the win without any interference or anything help needed for Mason. And I thought that kind of showed them, like, hey, Holiday taking ownership and leadership of the group and telling Pero, like, hey, he ain't the killer no more. Obviously, like, you see what we just did as a tag team. We don't need him. And I kind of did like that part, but I didn't know that Mason, or they put out a video kind of further along that story. So I do have to hop on my notification. I think all my notifications are still turned off, because I turn them all off when I watch these shows. And I finished the GCW shows last night. So I was off on Twitter all week. So I am a little bit behind on wrestling Twitter for the last couple days.
Dude, you're stronger than me that you actually go dark when you don't see a show. You're like, fuck it, I'm off the internet. For me, I die if I'm off the internet. Anybody who sees me on Twitter knows I'm moving.
Oh, that's why I'm like this, though. I'm like, oh, I got to watch these shows. I got to get back on Twitter. I'm like,
I get it, man. I get it.
All right, let's go into match number 3, as it is a rematch from a few years ago in LA. Alex Zane going against Broski Jimmy. Once again, another short match. I don't know how I'm feeling about these short matches. I don't feel as short when I'm watching them, but then, like, when they end, I feel like just a little bit more could have been added. But the big thing for me was Jimmy picking up the win here. Picking up the win over New Japan name was kind of shocking to me, but I'm glad, because, like, there's obviously a storyline of why it needed Jimmy needed the win, and I'm just surprised that New Japan kind of let Jimmy pick up the win over Zayn. But that was a nice thing to see, and I like to see still Jimmy's promo, his character work continuing to grow, and Nick Wayne getting involved at the end was a nice surprise. I didn't expect to see him show up. Like I said, now that he's on the AEW train, I think anytime we see him is a special moment. And it was another shock to me, even though we just saw him recently. But that's kind of cool. At least we'll know we've seen him little bit more going into collective, because I knew they had that one tag match with the East West Express kind of getting back together again. So I knew we were to see him at least one time, but to see him multiple times during collective weekend, I'm excited to see that as well. And yeah, that was overall. That's, I think, all that this match did was just progress Jimmy along and kind of solidified Nick being involved in collective weekend.
So I'll start with Alex, just because I'm a big fan of Alex. He comes around occasionally, and that's the amount of Zayn I actually like. I don't want to know his every move. I like some surprises in him, and I can't even explain why. He's one of the few wrestlers I can actually say that about. I'm also a big fan of the red and mint color scheme. I'm always big on colors. Anybody who watches knows sometimes I'll talk about that. I don't see anyone else have that mixture of red and mint. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Missy Hyatt was shown in the crowd. She's that ultimate 80s, 90s girl. She was supposedly a fantastic lady backstage. I've never personally met her before, but she's very she's well known. Very nice lady.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of great stories about Missy Hyatt. All right. And then Jimmy, oh, see, you're not smiling as much as I am. Either you're holding it in or you don't know as much as I do. All right. So Jimmy's been studying his Cardona tapes for sure. He tried hitting Alex with his belt. He hit radio silence. He was beating on Alex after the match. Very Cardona-like. Nick Wayne then ran in for the save. He says Jimmy's brainwashed. He said March 24th in Rochester, New York, it's Broski Jimmy versus Nick fucking Wayne. So this match technically went to Broski Jimmy for the win. Again, 6.5 minutes long, short little match. But I felt like it did the job. So, I mean, if this was going to be 12 to 14 minutes for Broski Jimmy to do, I mean, it got the job done.
Yeah, that's why that's what I was kind of leading to. Like, even though all these matches felt short, there was an ending afterwards and a progression to the story. So that's why it ended short. I'm fine with that. Just felt like all these matches ended short, and seeing these times kind of puts that in my face. One thing I liked during this match was Zayn when he went. Jimmy went for the low blow and Zayn blocked it, and like he's like, nah, like how like you said, he's learned from Cardona, but Zayn knows the Cardona ways, and he's trying to block all that shit too. I love that part. And I follow Zayn too on Twitter. Like he did make a post just recently saying like how he doesn't post a lot of personal stuff on social media and stuff, but he does like post a lot of food and stuff. And I always get jealous when I see all the food plates that he's eating out there. Like makes me really want to go to Japan. Like I think I would gain 400 pounds if I went out there, man. I'd just be eating all these fantastic looking foods. And Zayn, every time Zayn posts something, I'm like, that looks good. I want that.
Dude, I'd love to go to Japan if I could fit, because I always see
God.
foods from Japan, like different types of sushi or the way they cut the steak and shit. We're getting off, but man, it like the streets are clean. Everybody has their shit together when it comes to living situation. Like, I don't know. It's way more disciplined than I live right now. I can say that much. So I'll get off of that and let you go to the next one, my friend.
I'm not the same way with you. Like I always like I want to like move to Japan, like not move to Japan, but like live there for like a month. And like I always joke like, hey, I'm a teacher, but I'm so tired of these kids. I'm just gonna go to Japan and open like one of those pachinko little stores and like just have the little balls, like it's like the little gambling, like plinko. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I just heard that game and I saw it and like I was like, yeah, that could be my life out in Japan. Just on one of those shows, just hear tick 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 all day long and just get headaches and then go home and enjoy the nice island.
Get headaches.
I love Japan, man. I love Japan. Like everything I see on there, I think I would enjoy it. And like I'm the same way. I do want to go out there for a month.
Dude, yeah, I'd go if I could fit. I'd tip the island.
All right. Our next matchup is Joey Janela going against Jack Cartwheel. I was glad to see Jack Cartwheel get this match. I think another high profile match for him. I always talk about his improvements. I do want to see him kind of get those spotlight matches to showcase those improvements in a one-on-one setting in a like all eyes on me instead of just like during these scrambles or these lucha matches where he gets his spots in and everyone goes nuts. Like he told a good story with this match. Joey was a perfect opponent for him. I loved how they did the cartwheel spot around the carousel room. I love how Joey could get funny with that kind of stuff. And I thought this was a good match. And I just also love seeing Adam Gart doing the cartwheel too at the beginning. I thought whenever the referees do the cartwheels, I pop at the beginning of the matches, and I like seeing them. Like a lot of referees were getting involved in matches. Like we had Scarlett Donovan. We have that the new guy. I think his name's. Oh my god, I forgot his names. We had a new referee that. He had the curly hair. I know his name. I follow him on Twitter. Shoes, something shoes.
No.
I don't know if it's
no.
red shoes or something. I don't think it's red shoes, but I'll find it while you're going over your
shiny shoes.
But I just like how the referees like. No, shiny. I just like we kind of talk. We always try to give shout out to commentary team, referees all the time. Like we try to give everybody production involved to show it, and I think now we're seeing referees are getting kind of like little spin-offs and characters, kind of like how we used to get the Earl Hebners and the Nick Patricks, and they like I love that because it gives a name, it gives them a character, and also like when I watch like these Triple I shows, like when somebody was telling me how the Mexican referees like are bad guys and faces and they count and they affect the story, I think that just adds another dimension to matches that we don't see out here in the States. But I think if we can start seeing in GCW here or there, I think it'd be awesome to see. And this just them getting a lot of spotlight this week was cool to see. Like, you know, like we always bring up Scarlett Donovan and Titus. Those two just have a chemistry and that we can always know they're going to go back and forth. But hey, like we might see Scarlett count a little faster for Titus, a little or slower on Titus. Like I just think those would add cool little things to these matches. And I just still like seeing the referees get the love as characters on the screen as well.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that cartwheel from Gold. I'm going to take that out of my notes because that had me rolling laughing. I'm with you about the referees. No. I'm with you on the referees. I really do like when they show personality. Again, one of the things we did at the GCW Plant podcast was we made sure that people understood that referees are performers also. And we made sure that we give them their due because they have to do their job, or what you're seeing in that ring doesn't go down always the way you want it to. And generally there's a way for things to be done. So one shitty referee can really turn things upside down. We've all seen a screwed up 3 count before. It happens. Okay. So Joey's fresh off that Extreme title loss to Maki Ito. But I remember also for previous weeks before and other shows there, the talents were saying, well, it's ugly. You know, it's a nasty looking belt, I'm wondering, okay, maybe I'm digging too deep, but maybe they're just talking about taken out of GCW and into another country and into other places where it can be off of our minds because, you know, me and you, we're going to be like, where's that title? Where's the title? Like we always do because we are very strict about, you know, how that's handled. So I wonder if it's maybe a talking down a little bit so that can kind of go under the rug. You know, like I said, low key, you know, Maki's getting a title run. And we're getting some good publicity.
I like how it looks.
I'm okay with it. It reminds me of the Stone Cold, like the smoke belt, or maybe like the Brahma Bull belt.
Adds a little different to it. That's why I liked it. Like when PCL Bree pulled that out of that bag when he brought her back, I popped. I was like so glad to see that belt back in that form, like the exact belt, because I do like the way it looks. It adds something different. I think it would look cooler like on the ultraviolet belt because of how like just it has like the little red and the little maybe the blood on it. But I think for extreme belt, I think it elevates the belt. I do like how it looks, but I know a lot of people don't like how it looks, but I don't know. That's just I like black and red too, so maybe that's why I really like that belt.
I'm sure that's probably part of it. That it's just as heavy as that JCW belt. That JCW belt's pretty damn heavy too.
Oh, that was heavy.
What did you say? Roughly around what? 10 pounds?
Oh, I thought he said it was closer to like 15. Like it was pretty.
I wouldn't be surprised. Damn, man. You could you could do rep on that thing. Jack, he's about 10 years younger than Joey in this one. And there was a spot where Joey and Jack are doing cartwheels together in the terminal outside the ring. That was a cool little spot. I'm going to hit you with a question here, and I want to see what you think. Which Joey do you like more? Do you like Joey heel more, or do you like Joey face more? Oh, right. We haven't seen Joey heel.
I like I like the fun Joey. They're having the silly spots. They're doing the suplex on backyard wrestling around the woods. I like when he has fun because the matches get crazy and he has fun. But like when he's heel, he gets like dastardly and stuff. But I think now like we got these other characters that show a little bit more heelness and asshole. Like I don't know. I think Joey kind of lost a little touch as a heel where he'd have to come back way more strong and could be completely different than what we see now for me to kind of get behind it. Because you said we haven't seen it in a while, and I don't know. I definitely like Joey as a face way better though.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I feel like Joey, Effie, and several others, their character transcends heel or face. It's like they don't even need it. And it doesn't matter who they are. You're still going to cheer for him anyway. If Joey's a dick, we're still going to sit there and go, ah, ha, ha, ha. And if he does something funny, we're still going to laugh just equally as loud. So I just wanted to hit you with that because I feel like, I mean, it's a trick question. He transcends heel face right now. So I don't think he really, but everything he does is so unique that, you know, I won't go further into that. But yeah, in this one, oh my gosh, I have to look here for a second. Our winner was Joey Janela in a touch over 12 minutes. I thought this was a good match. It filled its amount of time. It was an average length. Match 4. I don't know. I can't say much more about it, really. What's the good way to put it? I just can't write down what really went on. It was entertaining, but how do you write down I had a good time and it was entertaining? Like, I can't put it into words.
The cartwheels.
It was a fun match. You know what? I didn't do a cartwheel count. That's what I needed to do in this one.
Oh yeah, we need to get that going again. Headbutt count, cartwheel count. All right. Our next matchup of the evening is Brandon Kirk going against Microman. Just like I was saying before, I like seeing Kirk in some of these spotlight matches. He has a comedic side to him as well. When he needs to get funny, he can have a fun match like how he did this match against Microman. And I like to see Kirk have fun. Like you can see the happiness on his face. I think that like sometimes when we see him, I think you can really tell his mood on his face, or he's like, I don't want to fucking be here. I don't want to do this. Give me go in and get out. But then this whole weekend, you saw him smiling. And maybe that's too, because with Casey coming back, maybe he has his partner in crime with him and he's happy with her. But I saw a different Brandon Kirk this weekend that was happy and enjoying what he does. And I love seeing him in that kind of way. And I wonder what's going to happen with him, Tremont, and Casey with that little feud going on. Or not Tremont, John Wayne Murdoch. I don't know why I put Tremont in my notes, but John Wayne Murdoch. I'm wondering what's going to happen there with what's the little tease is it with when Casey has her match. I guess we'll get into it more, but I wonder what's happening with the Kirks in GCW now that we're going to hopefully see them more as we talked about the end of the change. And the Psycho Driver on the chairs was funny. I loved seeing the Psycho Driver on the chairs to Microman. And I wrote commentary was great all weekend, getting the Microman over, and Microman, just as you wrote earlier too, was incredibly over with the fans. AC, Phoenix, LA, and it's awesome to see him get love everywhere with GCW, and he's fit right in GCW, I think.
Yeah, Brandon and Casey have that new company smile. That's how I want to put it.
That's for sure.
Micros. That's about the best way I can kind of put it. That it kind of makes sense. They got that new company glow. It's not like I won't go. Yeah. So Micro's outfit was teal and black. I'm really a big fan, like I said, of color. So if you go look at it on the show, he had a really awesome teal and black from the mask all the way down to the tights. Fans love Microman. This match, I thought, where could this go? Brandon Kirk and Microman, like, where's this going to go? It went extreme, plain and simple. Microman, like said, Psycho Driver through the chairs by Kirk. Kirk built a micro glass bridge with micro chairs and micro glass, and then he's the one that ended up going through it. Did you see where his shoulder kind of landed on one of the chairs? Those chairs have no give because they're so small. So if you hit a corner of that, oh man, he didn't land in between perfectly, like where he hit all glass. His right shoulder came down on the one chair, and it could not have felt good. I don't care how Vin brings out the ladder, sets it up. Micro goes up, frog splash off the ladder for the win. Microman with the win at 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Directly after that win, we have fans chanting, "Please come back," and TOS. Could you imagine Microman and TOS? Anyway, Kirk did a great job. I'm scared to really, you know what? No, you want to talk. I'm going to let you talk. What about Micro and TOS, my friend?
Was that I guess that was a chant. I thought they were chanting TOS for Kirk, like kind of like get him involved. But yeah, I guess I could see the tongue-in-cheek chant for TOS for Microman.
because
I guess I
he
get
went
it now.
extreme.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, the fans were
Yeah,
kind
with
of,
the
it was tongue in cheek, but yeah, could you imagine his little ass in oh God, no, but still funny though overall. I feel like he'd be used more as a weapon than he would be like you can
right.
only sell for so long, especially in an extreme match. Kirk did a great job. Micro still steals the show. Can we get a tag team of Micro Man and Big Vin? Because I asked online and Big Vin
Oh,
definitely liked it. If you watch them together, here's my thought. If Microman gets in the ring, it's one kind of match. When he tags in the big guy, it's a completely different style of match. It would be amazing. You'd get the sympathy from the little guy, this and that, but wait until he tags in his big brother. I used the big brother reference earlier, but here we go. And then Big Vin goes over the top rope and just clears house. Like there's so many dynamics at play. I just need one match.
just that visual of Microman looking up at Pero was fucking fun
Yes.
to watch it. See. Like, yeah, with Big Vin there too. Like now you can have Big Vin shadow kind of overlap Microman. Like, hey, I got your back now. Now we're face to face, Pero. Yeah, I can see that. That'd be a fun little tag team for sure.
I had to say it, man. It's just, I see it.
All right. Our next match is for the GCW World Title as the JCW World Champion Masha Slamovich challenges Blake Christian for the World Championship. Another rematch in AC. The crowd was definitely hot, definitely behind Masha. I'll let you kind of go over your stuff because I do have most of my notes is at the end of the match, and I don't want to run over your notes again. So I'll piggyback off what you say.
Okay, I'm going to start with my thoughts on this one. You can tell me what you think. I feel like this was a small stage for two major champions to meet up and fight, given it's a Sunday show and minimal hype. I feel like the hype for this match should have been large, and a story could have been stretched over many shows, especially given that both of these competitors have a history together. So this is just, it's unrelated, but I wanted to put it in here. But there were boring chants, same old shit chants, don't come back chants towards Blake. I think I also heard after Blake got the ladder, Micro got his ladder. And Blake actually mocked Micro Man and had Mercer pick him up and put him in the ring. Just thinking functionally, while Blake was wrestling, Mercer should have went and got that letter for Blake instead of Blake walking to the back mid-match, disappearing, and then coming back with the ladder. Also, this is me just being picky again, but the last, he had his all heart pants on. You really shouldn't have your face pants on if you're a heel. You can't have heart if you're a heel. Being a heel is the opposite of having a heart. Like I said, this might be me just digging too deep, but new champ chants for Masha from the crowd. Everything I described was pretty much in 3 minutes. Mercer goes through a double door bridge. Masha's in a leg lock on top of a ladder. Funny thing, no one helps her. Blake wins. The finish gave us an incredible visual where she's basically bent up on that ladder. After the match, then, do you want me to stop and hand it over to you from there? Because our winner here was Blake Christian. You see my notes. So do you want to go from here, or do you want to?
Yeah, I just have a little thing to hop on before you continue. But yeah, I wrote another good defense from Blake. I wrote this, felt like this kind of the same match that they had previously for the belt. And when the crowd were saying same old shit, I don't know. Like, I don't think this falls on Blake. I just feel like this is a repeat of a match that just happened not too long. I guess it does. I say not too long ago. It feels not too long ago. I guess it was what he's been champion for almost 8 months now. So
30,
or maybe even over at that point.
Total defenses won in a row. 38.
Yeah. So I just feel like this was a match that did not need to be replayed again. But as you said, now you got her being Masha, the JCW champion, going into this match, and yeah, now you got champion versus champion, and like you said, it falls on the Sunday show. And I made notes of it in my head, but I didn't write it down. Like the Sunday crowd would look a lot smaller than it did Saturday, but it was still a great show Sunday. That's why I was kind of shocked to see such a small crowd, because I was really looking forward to the Sunday show too. But I don't know. I just feel like it just feels like we just had it. The crowd and AC just had that match, and had Blake and Masha keep on going. We've been saying something new challengers, a real actual threat to Blake instead of these random ass challenges. I want to see change to the champion, like just like out of the Extreme Belt, just to start seeing some more stories go, or maybe start actually finally, as you will go into now, Joey going after Blake. They finally got this story, but even then, I don't know how I feel about Joey being the one to get this match at Collective, or possibly be the one that takes the belts off of Blake.
I was going to start my notes. Explain. Go ahead and explain. I want you to go ahead further before I go on. You know what I mean? Because you're on a good point. Yeah, you got a good thing going.
I don't want Joey to win at Joey Janela Spring Break. I think that just kind of looks corny, and like, hey, you won it on your own show, and like, I don't know. To me, that's a bad optic. That's one little thing I have on it. That's just, but I don't know. I just feel like right now the belt should be Mance or Effie right now. I think it, like, somehow, like, it could go to Joey, and if it goes to Joey, I could want to see Mance come in, use his shit, use his cash in on Joey, and then now you got Blake to go against Effie and possibly Joey, or Joey helping Effie going against Mance, and now you have this inner struggle for the fight for GCW. If the story goes that way, I don't mind seeing Joey Janela as champion. But if the story doesn't go that way, as Joey Janela's champion, we're still going to see the same Joey Janela matches, I think. We're going to see Joey Janela versus this big name for the GCW title, and then it kind of leaves the regulars nothing to fight for, because I don't think they're going to get the same opportunities as some of these bigger names from other companies coming into GCW. That's going to be where Joey's probably going to want to put the marquee title match on the card, instead of help build up a regular, especially for the short term at the beginning of his title run. I think that's how it's going to look.
Interesting. I had to sit there. I had to listen to your complete thought on that one before I said anything there. For me, I'm like pounding the table going, this is it. This is the moment that, you know, Blake goes down. This is the end of the run. Here we go with Janela, kind of a fan favorite. It's been a long time coming too, a lot of years. So on my end, this is kind of cool. We're actually opposite on this one. This doesn't happen often, but yeah. And this one, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the guy who took the dive years ago. I'm looking at the person who, you know, he's doing a damn good job booking. I think he's doing a damn good job with talent acquisition for some of these shows. And I know it's not all him, but I know that he's involved. That's the best way I can look at it. So, I mean, here's another one where he can have the title and doesn't need the main event, but I'll tell you, chances are he easily could, with any effort, be the main event of any night. I've seen him, and at least I've seen him rock it with
bigger names too,
bro. You know? Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen him pull, fucking, he's made shit sandwiches out of shit and still somehow they tasted good. Like, it happens sometimes, you know what I mean? Okay, so after this match here, Blake Christian won, and Missy Hyatt then decides that she's going to confront Blake Christian on how he won that match. She's like, oh yeah, you beat up a girl. Kind of a great point. It actually took Pero and him to beat up on, you know, and I'm really kind of surprised that Masha doesn't have any friends to help her. But Blake tried to attack Missy. Joey Janela comes in for the save, cuts a promo on Blake for making a mockery of the world title. Joey says, this shit's enough, basically. He challenges Blake for his title at GCW Spring Break with Missy Hyatt in his corner. So we're going to have the bad boy and the bad girl. New champ chants ring out over the crowd. The terminal is just going nuts. This is what most of us are hoping for. But again, I see what you're saying. That's what I got. Like, I see what you're saying.
I wanted
yeah. On my time, I feel like it's due. I feel like Joey's due. I don't know. I don't know. So you would say Mance or Cardona? I'm not sorry, Mance or Effie for champion right now?
I'd even go Cardona right now over Joe. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I just don't see Joey being like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Joey being the title holder. Like, I'll be glad that it'll probably be more main events. It'll probably be against bigger names that we've seen or heard of, other than
More
like, no offense,
creative.
like to the Adam Priest of the world to go challenging for the belt. So that I'll be at least more happy with it, more prestigious names. But I just don't know where that title is gonna go from there unless you build a Mance versus Joey. Then what happens with Effie again? I don't know. Like, I want to see, like, if Joey does win, like Mansoor get it, and then like how I talked about before. I want to see the GCW wrestlers all get their chance to carry the company for a little bit, show to show. Let them all be the title holders, but in that meantime, build up this super heel, a new one now, to start at the next year's collective to start their terror of reign. And then now you got the big bad guy. While this year, let the GCW have fun. As we see this ultra violence this weekend, I had a lot of old GCW vibes. I think it was always the ultra violence, the blood, the stories going on. I want to go. I want that GCW to take over right now while also building up the rest of this year. New monster heels, like the new Charles Masons, the new heels that's going to challenge the GCW regulars to take over the show. And then now that builds up a whole new story going into like the whole next year collective, like just some little bit long-term booking. Where my long-term booking with Joey Janela, like this is on me. Like, I just dumped on what it's going to be other than random challengers, big names, and crazy matches on just a bigger spot on the card, which is good for the title, which is better than kind of what we're getting now. No shot on Blake. He's doing what he's being booked to do. But I just want that title maybe to have like struggle, fight. I don't know what story Joey's going to be going into after collective. And that's also like way presumptional thinking too.
Yeah. The words I were looking for were chicken salad out of chicken shit. I was trying to get the right redneck term in there for that one. What I'm looking at is an increase in match creativity. I'm also looking at a possibility of an increase in total match time. And like I said, the chicken sandwich out of chicken shit is true. We've seen some matches that he made a lot out of. I'm just looking to see what will happen, but I feel what may happen here is when he walks out with the world champion, people may be more apt to want to see him walk out versus Blake right now. Blake has made his point. That's for darn sure. I don't know where all of that will go, but I am looking forward to something different for right now. And that's nothing against any performer whatsoever. It's just, it's been what I think close to 250, 300 days. Just, hey, why not turn the pillow? See what's on the other side. Maybe it's.
And I don't mind that.
No, you're just saying you want to see someone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. In
my mind, I don't have Joey being the one that does it.
See, for me, it's if there's going to be some people to go up against Blake, I have in my head Effie, Cardona, Gringo, Mance. I mean, just off the top of my head, there's 4. In any promotion, 4 runabout challengers, you could do a lot of work with. I'm not going to go deep into that, but I know bookers know a lot about that, man. If you can get 4 people, even 3 people to challenge up there, you could just rotate them. You can fill a card pretty quickly. You can make a lot of stars with some of these talents that we have on there. I mean, Joey can make or break a person pretty easily, depending upon how the match goes. He has the intelligence to do it.
And Joey on paper too is like the best name to do it. He is GCW. He lives, breathes, works. He is GCW. So he is the perfect person to tell this story, to take the belt back from Blake, back home to GCW, back home to the regulars. And I would love to see it. I just don't storyline. I think there's, in my playing with other people's toys, my booking, I just have other people doing that in the meantime. But Joey is a very good name to do it. I would like to see what comes of it, and something new I definitely would like to see too. So, but who knows now with Mercer, with Christian.
Well, it was just for my situation. I was like, if he don't do it now, when? See, that was my greater concern in this whole situation.
It's not collective.
I mean, well, yeah, because I mean, my greater concern is he's 34 years old right now. So if he don't take it now, I mean, what, a title reign at 38 or 40? So I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Like it's more than it's just time, but I don't have a better way to put it. I'm so sorry. My words are failing me like right now, but I'm pro, you're con for right now. I hope that this comes out for the better. I feel it's going to come out for the better. Joey is GCW. I have mad respect for him and what he does at GCW. And I don't even know everything he does at the company. I can't possibly know. So he's in ultimate control. I'm really curious to see what he can do with all of the reins in his hand, minus say maybe one, just to reel him in case there's something too crazy out there. But hoping for the best, my friend. That's for damn sure.
Yep, and that kind of leads. That's going to be the big match collective: Joey versus Blake for the world title at Spring Break. All right, going back to some violence here, as we will cover another death match, as it is John Wayne Murdoch going against Casey Catal. Love seeing the pop that Casey got. Love to see her back, and love to see her going against in her comeback match against John Wayne Murdoch. There's a lot of their story, but a lot of trust too for her first match back after suffering. I think she had the broken nose or like some other bones in her face. Was pretty bad. I love the hot start, and the ending I think sets up possibilities to have a storyline outside the Ultraviolet title that maybe could lead to who challenges Rena for the Ultraviolet title. I do like how the ending kind of set some stuff up, but another first great match back for Casey, and I enjoyed this match, and Casey stepped up. John Wayne delivered as always, and loved seeing the blood after Blake Christian's nonsense.
Yeah, this goes crazy. I didn't even want to really mention it too much, but you're right. Casey's one of those ones that I think would be excellent up against Rena in maybe a title match at some point down the road. And I'd be more than happy to see some fresh blood take that title. All right, coming back into this match. Yeah, John Wayne Murdoch versus Casey Catal. I saw light tubes, barbecue tools, chairs, gussets, panes of glass, doors, and a cheese grater. Casey comes out, huge welcome back chance. She's 4-0 against Murdoch in GCW at this point. Then we have Murdoch coming out. He's wrestling in purple pants. He's got a black and purple GCW shirt on. And we're going to go further into this match just because the scissor lift. Let's talk about the scissor lift just for a second. Can we please put maybe some googly eyes on it and maybe give it a name, because this fucking scissor lift is so famous at this point. I'm just wondering, whatever it might be, but can someone please name the scissor lift? If I had a GCW game, the GCW, like the scissor lift would be part of the game for sure. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there real quick. The ending in this one, Murdoch was placed on a door bridge with a pane of glass placed on top of him. Casey stands on that scissor lift and she goes up a solid 25 feet or more. Her husband, Brandon, then runs out and he lights the top of the glass on fire. It's just crazy. Casey has a chair. She dives with the chair onto Murdoch and the fiery glass. Clips are all over the internet. We literally had two memorable finishes back to back. So my opinion here, I like the Kirks in GCW. They're versatile. They can do tag matches, singles, death matches. That's totally what GCW likes to see in their performers, versatility. They're capable in ring and can also work a microphone. I don't see anything here as a negative. And yeah, with some of these companies going down right now, it just would be beneficial. This is a great pickup if we can get them both. There's a lot of new matches there, adding one or the other in any direction. Casey can shake up the division quickly.
I think they both can. And yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm so glad. Hopefully, as we talk about, they're able to work GCW more. We saw they're smiling. They're happy. They both delivered. They, as you said, they're both so unique and like provide a lot of whatever kind of match you want. Death, comedy, regular match, like tag teaming. I didn't even think about, tag team death match. Like they are an asset. And I'm hopefully this weekend was a good showcase for them to hopefully be used a lot more moving forward in GCW in a lot of different and unique ways. And I think they have a lot to provide. And like they're just new blood that changes a lot of stuff and could add a lot of newness and freshness to GCW right now. And as you said, like with Rena, like you wouldn't mind seeing fresh blood hold the title. I'm right there with you. Like I'm at this point now, I'm at fresh blood for every title except now Maki and Violence Forever. I still would like to see them just. There's a lot of tag teams out there. They still need to fucking face in GCW. So I don't want to see that end, but I'm all for like, yeah, the ultra violent champion, a new champion there and a new world champion just to start seeing some new freshness. Cause we talked about all the stuff that Maki could do now as Extreme title and with the Kirks being involved and all these stuff. Like I think the ultra violent scene just kind of got a shot of new fresh blood too. And I would just like to see new blood just to see these championships on our shows a lot more often. And I think that just elevates the importance of each show. And like, look at this stacks card. You got 4 championship matches this night or 3. And like, I just think it just adds so much value having your champions with you all around, especially touring the world as you are. And I think that's what's kind of hurting right now. The ultra-violent deathmatch scene is our champion's not there, so we kind of forget about it. And we don't get the death matches as often. And that's one note here too. Like AC, like GCW, I think I called it before. They are going to make up for all these shows that you don't have blood or ultraviolet. When they get to home and they get to AC, they're definitely going to go all out. And how many death matches and blood did we see all this weekend? And I just am so thankful and happy for it. And I am glad that they do make up for the ultraviolence that we don't get at other locations.
You know, I didn't think about this, but one of the genius parts of having Maki as an Extreme champion would be the fact that she's cute and she cuts. I thought it was kind of, but you can't spell cute without cut. So that's kind of there goes the tagline of the you know, but I do see the benefits in it now. I had to just sit around and think about it for a while, but yeah. And Casey's a huge upgrade. We were talking about this and maybe we'll get into this at some point, probably not tonight, but you're right. There is not going on in the American deathmatch scene right now. We don't have a lot of fresh blood, not a lot of younger cats out there doing it like they used to. So I don't know. Part of it may be just because it's gotten so damn dangerous. Like if we go and watch a Mick Foley match, we're not going to see glass. You know, things like that. Things have changed. So I wonder if some people are looking at it and going, you know, I don't know if I want to do that much anymore. And who knows, for the price, maybe they don't want to take that shitty shower at the end of the night and maybe they don't want to bleed into their sheets, you know, and I don't blame them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
no, for sure. Yeah. When you go to these other companies to try to make money, they're going to look at what you can do in ring, not the ultra-violent stuff too. So I get that being a dissuadance for the new talent in deathmatch scene.
Yeah, I feel like the next generation of deathmatch are going to be deathmatchers who also can legitimately wrestle. Like I can't think of another upgrade. Maybe they find a new weapon, but I think the next total package will be one who is a deathmatcher and one hell of a wrestler. And we only have so many of them out there in the world. So I wanted to kick that in there real quick.
No, you're right. You're right. All right, next match is a 6-person tag match, as it is the team of Thrusty, Alley Catch, Dark Sheik, and Effie going against team of Maki Death Kill Club. The new Extreme Champion, Maki Ito, Nick Gage, and Matt Tremont make up the Maki Death Kill Club. I just wrote this was another fan favorite match that the fans were into, and I loved the picture of Nick Gage staring at Thrusty when they did that entrance. I don't know if you've seen that picture going around. Like they got Nick Gage just his look was like, what the fuck? Like that was like so perfect picture of Nick Gage reacting to that. Perfect picture of Thrusty. And I loved it. I loved how it was just like a fan favorite match. Had a lot of comedy. When there was wrestling, there was good wrestling. But then Mance coming out, fucked it all up, which is I guess perfect for him. Fucking up a match full of fan favorites. And at least this match too was like 17 minutes going on too before he decided to come out, which was kind of cool that they gave the match time to breathe and give the fans something positive before taking the win out of their sails with Mance. And I like we talked about earlier, Mance and Effie's further their story again. And I don't know. I kind of was now looking at this as maybe Mance could pull off of Effie and start feuding with Nick Gage a little bit to kind of freshen up his little look and kind of help elevate him and give Nick Gage or Mance Warner some bloodbaths, that would be fun to talk about.
All right. So the first thing I wanted to mention here was that Tremont and Effie were beaten up from last night. Still worked this match. Entertaining chaos is what I put down. Too much to really report on. Everyone in the ring was having a good time. You're right. 17 minutes going on here. We didn't get the ending we liked, but we still got a 17-minute match. So fans can't complain that they didn't get something to bite on. But yeah, Mance got involved, attack Effie with a screwdriver. Everything was in chaos. The match was thrown out. No contest. Here's my critique. We had 6 fan favorites in the ring. It got stopped by the only ending that fans hate. Now, I know it was done on purpose, but they could have attacked after the match. Give us a finish. They're fan favorites, but again, that's personal, and I know the reason why they did it. So, it's just trying to gain heat. What you going to do? And it has to be by surprise also. So, yeah, but I'm not really even complaining. I'm just saying that's how I kind of look at it. Outside of that, though, who did we have as our winner here? I actually didn't write that one down this time. We just stoppage, right?
No winner. Yeah, there was no winner. The match got thrown out.
Yeah.
They said they couldn't do nothing about it, which I like to comment. Terry kind of made that because someone goes like, "Who the hell's winning?" I forgot who the other commentator was too. I never took note. The voice,
Nick Knowledge, wasn't it?
It was okay. I thought it was Nick Knowledge, but I wasn't for sure. Sounded a little different, but I loved. He was awesome too. Like he provided a lot of excitement too, and I think Prazak did a lot of good job of giving background knowledge. And Mance, I was the same way. Like it makes sense. Like it sucked that it happened, but booking wise was perfect. How it makes sense for him to come out and ruin all the fun.
I fucked up, and I want to make sure I give the proper person their due. It was actually Carmen Michael. Carmen Michael was on there. So we did have a New South person on there too. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I could see Carmen Michael listening right now going, "It was me." So I'm so sorry, but I wanted to jump in there and make sure we knew it was not Nick Knowledge, but it was Carmen Michael kicking ass on that microphone. So there we go. He's coming up in the world too, man. Happy for him.
Yeah, that was a cool. He did also, like I said, it sounded like a new voice, but then I wasn't sure. Like I assumed it was Nick Knowledge because like we're usually with AC shows that he's always on there.
Yeah.
But it did sound like a little different, but it sounded like new. But I also didn't have it fully on because, as you know, I watched it late at night and I can't have it fully on sometimes. But I did hear like it sounded like a new voice, but comment
drunk and
that's it, right?
All that heavy drinking, and
No, they did good. I just wanted make sure. Thank you for fixing that name because I did want to make sure that the other commentator, Carmen Michael, did get shout out because he did provide a lot as well. That's why I thought like he did so good. He fit right in. I thought he was providing a lot of the same stats and facts like Nick Knowledge would drop on us. So he fit right in GCW, which is a good thing. All right, I messed up here. All right, that will lead us into our main event, right? Yes, main events. All right, main event of the so much fun GCW was Los Macizos going against the team of Ito and Abdullah. Same thing as before. I'd love to see those two, Ito and Abdullah, get these matches just like with Tremont and Abdullah. I think Los Macizos was a nice, safe death match pairing with these two, but also I think it's cool Los Macizos get these matches because I know they always talk about, especially like when they wrestle these big names like that, they probably never would have had the opportunity to wrestle against, but because of GCW, they're getting these opportunities. So I'm pretty sure these were probably two names that they enjoyed working with. And I just saw the happiness in Mieto's face throughout this match. You can tell they both get excited. They were just enjoying this match. And I still want a little bit more though, like as singles competitors from both of them. I think Mieto would be a good world champion, as we said, PWI number 3 here. Why not? Like get him involved in the stories in the main event scene because I just remember his match against Speedball. I think is what solidified him as a main eventer. He could go and have great long matches and do a lot of good stuff as champion and main events. I think as a champion, and I would like to see Mieto kind of go more the world title match and Ciclope kind of go after the Extreme or Ultraviolet titles, just because I think Ciclope, he's always going to be down for violence and do some crazy spots, and he'll do a lot of spots I think that could go viral for each championship. And I think he would provide a lot too in each division. I think they both provide a lot of singles competitors. Where now that we've kind of seen a lot of their tag work and tag champions, I wouldn't mind seeing them kind of branch out and showcase their singles talents.
Yeah, tag, singles, deathmatch, versatile. There's another one. Again, these are the ones that really swim at GCW well. And if it's not that, then personality wins. GCW fans love personality of all different types. So it is what it is. This match, Japan versus Mexico death match. That's kind of the way I looked at it. Light tubes line the ring ropes. There were tubes everywhere, just laying on the ground. The spot that made me laugh, Abdullah swings a tube onto Ciclope and misses. I don't know if you see this. This is coming in the very beginning of the match, roughly. Ciclope ends up picking up the tube, hits himself with it, and sold it. Fucking fell down. And it was just, that's why I love Ciclope. That personality
exactly.
just shines. Kobayashi lost his fucking pants. He deserved the win after that, I'd have to say. After the match, the ring looked like war. I couldn't think of another way to put it. But Kobayashi and Ito ended up winning this match over Los Macizos. It was over 14 minutes long. And again, it was Kobayashi out there in his black tighties, just getting work done either way. He didn't give a shit, and the fans loved it. Stuff like that is what all of us live for. That's what makes that show unique. You know, remember when that fucker lost his pants? Like, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't remember this too much. You know, it'd go into the historical archives that, hey, we had all these wonderful, you know, veterans out there doing this. But those little moments like singing happy birthday to Tremont, those are things that, for me, those actually stick in my head sometimes more than matches do. I still remember Maki Ito singing at Cardona's wedding. To me, that sits in my head as a golden moment for GCW that I hope we remember forever.
Yeah, I right there, I agree. Like, that's why I loved Abdullah, I think, because he's just like having fun with it. Pants or no pants, he's gonna get through this match and still entertain us. Yeah, I agree that please come back. I would love to see both of them kind of come back and do some stuff. Like, I know TOS was one of the chants. I don't know about TOS, but as a showcase match on TOS, I wouldn't mind it, because I do think they do provide a lot of stuff and like a lot of historical value too, with those names coming over and working with GCW. I enjoyed everything they brought over, and Abdullah was like a big one. Every time I got to see him in the when they went to Japan, I was excited to see him wrestle on those shows too. So I am happily, anytime I can see Abdullah, I want to see him. And definitely stepped up. He wasn't one too I didn't know about, but after this weekend, he did a lot of good work. I'd like to see Prime Ito and see all the big matches he had back in his prime, because I know he probably had a good body of work of matches to watch.
I'm sure. I really haven't seen much, because again, up until independent times, I wasn't watching much Japanese wrestling. The only Japanese wrestling I really watched was like my tape trading days. I'd catch some FMW or whatnot. But yeah, I feel like I've lost out on a whole generation of amazing wrestling, and it's kind of cool to at least catch the back end. It's like, if you never saw Nick Gage, at least you see this, and then you can work backwards. Maybe one day between Kobayashi and Ito, I'll probably have to work backwards a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I use these moments for. So like, I see them, and then you learn about their work, and I want to go back and check out, especially now that they're a little bit older. I want to see what they did in the prime, because I know, like, I've seen some of the Kobayashi stuff in his prime. He's just funny as shit, and like ultra violent, just bloody wars that I've seen him in. But Ito's one I don't know too much, and definitely will check out, see some what he used to do back in the day. All right, ready to go on to our upcoming shows?
Yeah, all right. So let's go ahead and just go through those real quick here. So I will mention right up front, I hope you have something to do next weekend. There will not be any GCW shows coming up this weekend. Our next show will be on March 23rd. This will be GCW's Role Model from Harpo's in Detroit, Michigan. There's only been 2 matches announced so far. That's Violence is Forever versus the Rejects. I'm assuming that's for the GCW tag title. And then we have a match of Jacob and Zilla Fatu versus Bang & Matthews. I love Bang & Matthews, but I have a feeling it's not going to go too well for them in this match. Also announced for this show, but not given a match yet, are Deathmatch Royalty, Danhausen, Blake Christian, Joey Janela, Gringo Loco, Microman, and Nick Gage. Then the next night, this will be on March 24th, we have GCW's The Block is Hot 2024 from Water Street Music Hall in Rochester, New York. Same thing, only 2 matches have been announced so far. Rich and Powerful versus Infinity and Beyond, and Nick Wayne versus Broski Jimmy. Also scheduled to be on this card, Nick Gage, Blake Christian, Joey Janela, Danhausen, Jacob Zilla Fatu, Jacob and Zilla Fatu. I was doing so good. Kevin Blackwood, Dark Sheik, Microman, Billy Starks, Alley Catch, and Violence is Forever. So those are our next shows. Just mark them on your calendar. It will not be this weekend. It will be March 23rd and 24th.
Yeah, I think that Rochester show is going to fill out in a tremendous way. That's a big show for Brett. I think that's the one he was excited to announce in his home state. So I think he's going to be pulling out some names. I'm willing to bet Homicide will show up at some point throughout this that weekend in Rochester. I could see that one happening, but I'm excited. I think that one's going to be big. I think he's going to save that one because that's also one of the last shows I think heading into Collective Weekend is that show in Rochester. So that one is going to have a lot of stuff to talk about for sure. I think a lot of stuff that's going to lead into Collective Weekend, and I just think the craziness is going to be at an all-time high in Rochester. I'm expecting a crazy show that night.
Yeah, you were saying it before. I mean, Brett said it many times. He wants to really deliver for this show. This is one that he really takes pride in. So I hope he gets everything he really wants from this one, because the Rochester fans don't get much in that part of the country. And it's also really cool. Kevin Blackwood, I think he moved back to Buffalo probably last year or so. So we're getting a rare appearance by Kevin Blackwood in GCW. So we're looking forward to all that. And gosh, what are we going to do with the weekend off? I think I'm going to rest a little bit, and I don't know. I play cornhole with the family and shit. I do nothing. I'm so fucking boring, but I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'll be relaxing because I'll be going right back into school next Monday. I'm enjoying this week off in spring break, so trying to get as much done as I can over these next couple days, especially with no shows to watch or cover. Yeah, I might enjoy the weekend a little bit more coming up here.
Well, I haven't really talked it out with Cassidy yet. I just want to tell the listeners right now, at some point here, since there is no show next weekend for us to cover, I'm going to talk a little bit and see if maybe we could bring a guest on, maybe just to interview or talk a little bit. So there's nothing set in stone yet, but as of right now, as long as we can get someone to come on with us, the plans are, hopefully, fingers crossed, to just get someone to get on here and just talk and enjoy ourselves and be dumbasses with us for a couple hours. So fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it's a watch along party. We have no idea yet. We'll see how it goes, but we've all got to put our heads together and figure it out. And once we do, we'll try to get online and let everyone know what the plans are, so fans have something to really look forward to.
Yeah. I think we do have quite a few names too. We can call upon to fill in next week as we have no shows, but I'm excited too to start doing some interviews and have some people on that we've been wanting to talk to, or they've asked us to come on for a while. So I do want to start adding some more people on those weeks that we don't have shows. And I think Cass will hopefully help us out with that. And also I think he'll be okay with it too, because there's a lot of stuff we have to pick a lot of brains with a lot of questions to ask and some of these talents that we always talk about.
Well, for me, on my end, I know that I've asked one person. I've only asked one person ever to do an interview, and we're going to cash in on that one at some point soon. But everyone else, I probably am sitting on 12 to 15 names. So it's not like we can't find someone. It's just a matter of getting schedules together. Brant and I have actually been sitting on interviews for quite a while because we wanted to make sure we had the proper platform, everything in order. We wanted to make sure we have our shit together. That'll never happen, but we're doing pretty good right now. So yeah, the plans is we're going to be kicking this thing into high gear. We want to do a lot more. No shit. What you saw us today is nervous and dealing with a delay of about a second and a half. And we still pulled it through together. So we fucking love you all. We're so happy you hung in here with us. It's so weird on a delay sometimes. That's all right. But yeah, we're as soon as we know what's going on with next week's show, we are definitely going to make sure we tell everyone we're proud that we're over here at Game Changer Weekly, and we want to continue to do this for a very long time. So yeah, let's just try to get the community together. A lot of us know each other. We're one big family. And thank you so much again for everybody that comes and listen to us dumbasses talk. We didn't get in depth as much to here and there tonight, but we did touch on a lot of very interesting subjects. So I don't know. Is there anything else you have to say before we jump out of here tonight, my friend?
Yeah, let me get some the banners going here that I forgot to talk about. And as we talk about, as we said, we're still learning a new thing here too. But also, yeah, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to BodySlam's YouTube channel. At the bottom, just give us a thumbs up. Comments are down there. If you have any questions possibly for the next show or anything for us to talk about, pull it up there, chat it up there, and we'll respond as well. If you do enjoy the show and any other show on bodyslam.net, please show your support and donate to bodyslam.net on slamchats.com. All that goods goes to BodySlam and all the work that they do on their news articles and get our shows running. And yeah, we do get a piece of that as well. But I do forgot to got some banners here set up. I forgot to pull up, but I will get better at that. And yeah, we had some technical issues. Hopefully I will got to rein these in here soon. But yeah, I think for the most part we did another good show, and right again we're going to be ending at 2 hours here, so I think we found our timing. We covered everything that we were going to cover, I think, on these shows, and that was a lot of content, a lot of stuff to cover, and it was once again another fun and successful Game Changer Weekly. Anything?
Hell yeah, brother! I think we did this thing. Fuck no. I actually just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone around us. Thank you to GCW for being supportive enough to retweet what we have going on here. Again, this is just show number 2. Let's see what happens as we build. This is just the start. We're going to make sure that we get out there amongst the fans, talk to people. We're at shows now. Listeners are coming up all the time. There's quite a bit of us. I didn't know how many until we sat down and really looked at the numbers. And then we came over here to BodySlam, and all of you traveled with us like a freaking family. And that was just so, gosh, we could have had nobody. And all these people came over. And so I just want to say one last time, just bottom of our hearts, thank you. We're just small people. We never get much of, we just work hard. And through hard work, we went from no listeners to hundreds and hundreds of listeners. And we don't know where we land, but the last show was our biggest ever on a Tuesday night at midnight. So we'll see what happens. But we have nothing but love for all of you. And we're amateurs, baby. We're professional fans and amateur podcasters, and we love what we do. So we hope that you love everything back. And if you have any comments, questions, or do you want to abuse any of us, send it all to Brant at GCW. No, I'm just kidding. Of course,
Game Changer Weekly.
Yeah, get a hold of me at Game Changer Weekly. I'm really decent to talk to. I'll maybe even talk your ear off, but all of us are friendly. You're not going to get any shit from anyone. Yeah, just get in contact with us. I have talked myself into a wall. I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody at the next show we're at, which is LA. You're going to LA, right?
Yeah, I got front row. Just going to be me out there this
so,
time.
Are you sitting front row down front, or are you on stage? Oh,
I'm down there with the bodies flying, hopefully.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, you know what? I felt like I asked you this question before. I forgot. We did talk about this. You're going to be front. Okay, you're going to be front row down there. Hopefully our last names match up to where we can sit together. Wink, wink.
We'll make some connections out there. Yeah.
Just like we'll have to just beg. If we beg, sometimes we get like we can sit together. They're usually pretty good about having us all sit together. You have your group, I have my group. We've never had a problem.
No, yeah, it's gonna be a fun show. Yeah, I'm excited for LA weekend on 420. All right. Yes, big thank you again, BodySlam, Cassidy, Game Changer Weekly, all the fans, new and old. Yes, thank you for letting us come in and take over here, and it has been fun. And I agree with you. We will be improving just like we always do. We're not the best, but we will improve, and it's been fun improving each and every week and talking all this Game Changer Weekly stuff. So let's send him out of here. Even with the delay, I think we could do
with
this
a delay. Oh shit! You ready? You start it, and I'll
All
talk
right,
with
here we
you.
go.
Okay, go.
I'll give you a 5-second delay. G.
5-second delay.
C.
G. Okay. Long live
G.
G C
W.
W.